Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Onos, and today I wanted to get into something that I was definitely in two minds about. I'm not sure how well the message in this video will be received. The recent DLC has brought about a lot of frustration with Nioh 2, or so it seems from reading over the comments. A lot of people have seen their previous builds get a significant nerf to power, and after spending a ridiculous amount of hours perfecting a build, and seeing it trashed overnight without any warning. It's tough. I can relate to this. A couple of the builds I had ready for the DLC just couldn't stack up anymore either, so we're all in the same boat. What I wanted to talk about today is in answer to a number of comments I've seen, which ask the question, why bother to nerf anything when there is no PvP in the game? Why does the game even need to be balanced? I think the question is born of frustration, which again I can relate to, but I have a few reasons to talk about and some things that I think that Team Ninja have done right, now that I've calmed down after my own initial frustration with the nerfs. So a game like this is based on 4 pillars. 1. The difficulty. The difficulty and challenge gives us something to overcome, and also gives us a sense of community. You know that anyone you talk to who has played Nioh for any length of time will have hit brick walls, overcome challenges, tried countless times on fights and tweaked and refined their build and playstyle over and over again. 2. The progression and gear grind. That feeling of making progress, building in power, jumping over the next hurdle and finding that the challenge isn't as steep as it once was through a combination of gear, build and your own level of skill. 3. Freedom of choice. You can build your character the way you want to and find a way to overcome those challenges, fitting your own playstyle. Then you can play around with different builds later down the line to try out new things. It's the freedom to choose how your character develops, and also the ability to change that whenever you like. And 4. Being overpowered. Returning to challenges to grind out some additional resources for your build, and finding that you're able to smash through the content. You can beat the boss in 30 seconds flat. Those are the 4 pillars of a game like this, the way I see it anyway. Without those 4 pillars, a game like this will eventually fall flat. The gameplay might keep things going for a while, but without those 4 things, people leave, get bored, and move on. Now of course there are things like co-op to play around with, but we've talked about that before. Co-op wasn't challenging at all. It was simply a means to farm and maybe have a little fun with friends. Nioh 2 before the DLC had some serious problems. For anyone who had spent a significant amount of time in the game, and going back to the 4 pillars we just talked about, Nioh 2 didn't have all 4 pillars. Let's go back to them. 1. Difficulty. Nope, that ship had sailed. We'd overcome the challenges and were simply playing the game to farm it. Perhaps trying out new builds if we hadn't burnt out on the game already. 2. Progression. Nope, that was pretty much done with as well. Unless you were trying to grind out level 170 plus 10 gear, which, let's face it, before the DLC wasn't necessary. 3. Freedom of choice. Now this is the tricky one, and we're getting close to the point I was trying to make. The freedom of choice on paper was there. We could choose our weapons, armour, soul cores, guardian spirit, clan, etc. But we had an issue. One of the clans was significantly more powerful than anything else on offer. And the same goes with guardian spirits. We had Tengen, which was just so much better than the majority of others. It meant we were in the situation where we had the illusion of choice. We had all these options on the table, but having one overshadow the others so dramatically means that if we pick something else, there is always that nagging doubt that your character could be more powerful. Also, if you spent some time with Honda clan and Tengen, then decided you're bored and want to try out something new, the disappointment would likely put you off the idea really quickly when you found out that you just couldn't hit as hard no matter what you did. So what are we left with? 4. Feeling overpowered. Yeah, okay, we had that, but that's 1 of 4. Ever seen a table with 1 leg? Ask yourselves honestly, how long would you continue to play Nioh 2 if that's all there was? Even the most die-hard fans would find the game dull and unrewarding after a while. Having a game like this become unrewarding and unfulfilling is commercial suicide in the long run. So going back to the question, why bother to balance Nioh 2? Why nerf things if there is no PvP? What's the point of balancing? They had to. If we all walked into the DLC and smashed through it, if Dream of the Demon didn't force us to re-evaluate our builds and playstyle, if it didn't give us a ladder to climb, we'd be done with the game in a matter of days or weeks at best. Let's be honest, from their point of view, they need to keep us engaged long enough to buy time for the next DLC. They also needed to give us real choices to make again. Introducing new Guardian Spirits to the game, again, if Tengen had remained the way it was, the new Guardian Spirits wouldn't get much attention. Unless of course they made them even more overpowered, which basically starts a bidding war. Power scaling issues which will wreck the game very quickly if they keep having to up their bid. So now I'm going to talk about a few things that Team Ninja have done right, now that I've finally gotten around to my Dream of the Demon playthrough. The introduction of the Divine Grace set bonuses means that any divine piece of gear that drops could now be useful, rather than automatically going in the grinder for materials. It's also given us something new to aim for. We have the ability to combine set bonus to an even greater degree now, and even when we get just the right set in place, there is always a chance that one of the new pieces will eventually drop a better star bonus on it. The difficulty of the game has increased, which has given us a fresh challenge again, and combining that with the nerfs mean that we have to play the game a little more carefully again, relying more on skill like we once did. Add to this what I said earlier about the Grace set bonuses and the fact they can drop from anywhere. This means that instead of rushing through the missions again, it's given us a reason to play each level properly, killing everything in sight because we'll maximise our chances of getting those drops. I know that the bosses have pretty big health pools on Dream of the Demon, but again it's forcing us to fight them properly and maybe even pay attention to boss mechanics, instead of just walking over them. Without that challenge, at least to begin with, we'd be bored in no time. I'm confident we'll all be overpowered again in time. Most likely some of you have already found things that make you feel better about the nerfs that hit you. But Team Ninja have given us all 4 pillars again. The difficulty, the progression, the freedom of choice and the ladder to climb to become overpowered. Will they have to nerf things again in the future? I expect so, but next time they do, just realise they're striving for this balance, because otherwise the game will slowly die. Allowing the power curve to run away with itself without the challenge to meet it, or forcing players into a corner with only 1 or 2 ways to play the game in order to feel like you're winning, simply kills a game like this. It's a fine balance between challenge and the chance to get what you need to beat it. Thank you for watching, like and comment if you don't mind, sub if you're new, and I'll wrap it up here. Take care, stay safe, bye bye now.